This is a system that only acts this way towards guys like Aaron Spencer. But when it comes to your everyday lowlife, for their sake, the system does everything it can to be kind and be merciful. There's a guy down in Arkansas named Aaron Spencer who's running for sheriff. And that's notable because this guy is currently charged and will soon be on trial for murder, specifically for killing a pedophile who was molesting his daughter. And here he is announcing his candidacy. Listen.
Hello, Lone Oak. My name is Aaron Spencer. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. I'm also a husband, a combat veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, a contractor, and a farmer. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court. And I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. That's why I'm announcing my candidacy to run for Lone Oak County Sheriff. This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side, and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Together, we can build a safer, stronger Lone Oak County for every family. I'm Aaron Spencer, and I'm running for sheriff of Lone Oak County.
Well, now we see the diametric opposite. Here's a leader of men. Here's a guy who you want to have in charge of law enforcement in your community. And reading a bit more from New York Post, it says a father accused of killing his 14-year-old daughter's rapist is running to be sheriff, claiming the legal system failed him by charging him with murder. Aaron Spencer allegedly gunned down Michael Fossler, 67, after catching him driving off with his daughter, whom Fossler had already been charged with grooming and abusing, according to court documents. Announced his candidacy, we just heard that. Spencer was charged with second-degree murder last October after allegedly killing Fossler when he found him in a truck with his daughter. The dad told authorities he had driven around his neighborhood after discovering his daughter was missing, then found her being driven away by Fossler, who had already been charged with multiple sexual offenses against Spencer's daughter. He forced the accused rapist off the road and shot him. And now he's going to be on trial for murder. So it's insane. Not insane that he's running for sheriff. I think that's great. I would definitely vote for him if I could. But the fact that they're actually pursuing murder charges against this guy, like he's going to trial. And keep in mind, this was in Arkansas. And I know we like to think that red states are these bastions of sanity. But this guy, we just talked about Kentucky and what's happening there. This guy chased down a 67-year-old pedophile who had already been convicted of abusing this same child, found him abusing his daughter, shot him, and now they're trying to put him in prison. They're trying to take him away from his daughter, who he was protecting, and put him in prison. And according to the mythology of the red state, right, the conservative Bible Belt red state, according to that mythology, the mythology is that the cops would have shown up, they would have seen what happened, they would have, you get the basic facts of the case. It would have been really easy to establish, he was driving away with this girl, he's a pedophile, and rather than charge him with murder, they would have taken him out for a beer and congratulated him and then sent him on his way. Like, that's the mythology of a place like Arkansas, is that's how it would happen. But instead, this is what they do. If you act to defend yourself or your loved ones, the system will do everything in its power to destroy you and punish you. And here's what makes this so much worse. It's not like this is a system where they enforce the letter of the law to a T, right? They throw the book at anybody. Law and order enforced by the book, no mercy. And so even if you shoot your daughter's abuser, they're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And if your actions don't comport with the letter of the law 100% the whole way through, they're going to throw you in prison. That's not the system, okay? That's not the way that it works. And even if it did work that way, I would obviously still strenuously object to charging Spencer with a crime. But that's not how it works. You know what's in your drinking water? Well, besides fluoride and rust, turns out you might also be sipping on leftover prescriptions from your neighbors. Congratulations, you're now on antidepressants, antibiotics, birth control pills you never asked for. That's why I recommend Cove Pure. It's the best way to actually trust your water. Here's the reality. When people take meds, their bodies don't absorb all of it. The rest goes down the toilet and back into the water supply. And shocker, water treatment plants are horrible at filtering it out. So now your family gets to enjoy a cocktail of hormone disruptors and painkillers in every glass. Sounds healthy, right? Not exactly. Well, Cove Pure fixes this. The system sits on your counter, no plumbers, no drilling. Just fill it, plug it in, and it strips away everything that isn't water. Pharmaceuticals, fluoride, forever chemicals, arsenic, fertilizer runoff, all of it gone. It's great. Makes our water actually taste like water, if you can imagine. Plus, with the touchscreen, you can choose to have your water hot, cold, or warm at the push of a button. Look, you wouldn't take a stranger's drug prescription, so why let their leftovers end up in your kid's sippy cup? Protect your family. Head to covepure.com/Walsh right now. Okay, Spencer is not being charged and tried in the context of this by-the-book, pitiless justice system that just holds everybody accountable for the slightest infraction, right? That's not what this is. This is a system that only acts this way towards guys like Aaron Spencer. But when it comes to your everyday lowlife, your thieves, your thugs, your hoodlums, your dysfunctional losers, your career criminals, your psychotic vagrants, your drugged out, dangerous zombies, and so on, for their sake, the system does everything it can to be kind and be merciful and give them a second chance. Well, where's Aaron Spencer's second chance? I mean, even if you think he did the wrong thing, which I don't know how you could possibly think that, there is nothing more right than killing the man who's abusing your daughter, trying to drive away with her, kidnapper. I mean, he's in the process of trying to kidnap your daughter. A pedophile is kidnapping your daughter. I cannot think of any more appropriate response than to shoot him and kill him and take your daughter back. But even if somehow you think that he did the wrong thing, even if you're that deluded, okay, well then why shouldn't he get a second chance? Why aren't we sympathizing with his lived experience? Why aren't we thinking about his mental state? You know, his trauma, his very real trauma. Like all the nonsense that's constantly used to let off the worst humans on the planet, let them off the hook. We never use it for the sake of actual law-abiding citizens who are driven to take extreme action when they're put in extreme situations. Daniel Penny, of course, is another example. There are many others. And that's the thing. We like to say that this is a soft on crime system. And I use that phrase too, kind of a shorthand. It's a convenient shorthand, but it's not really true. That would not be nearly as bad as the system that we currently have. Because a soft on crime system, in that kind of system, Aaron Spencer, even if he did commit a crime, which he didn't, he would benefit also. Right? If it was really a soft on crime system, then we would also say to him, well, that's the attitude you would take. So he would benefit from that. But we're not. Actually, this system is merciless and severe when it wants to be. The system is downright medieval in its approach to crime and punishment when it wants to be. But it only wants to be when the accused criminal is somebody like Aaron Spencer. A law-abiding man, usually a white man, who has to do something extreme in defense of his loved ones. And why is that the case? Why do they come down on Aaron Spencer? Why do they come down on Daniel Penny? Because those men, what they did is a rebuke of the system itself. It is the system defending itself. Aaron Spencer and Daniel Penny, and there are many other examples, but just using those two, they tried to destroy Daniel Penny's life. They tried to put him in prison. It didn't work out. They're going to try to do the same thing with Aaron Spencer. But in both of those cases, those were men who had to step up and defend the innocent because the system failed to do it. Jordan Neely, the psychotic vagrant, should have never been on that subway in the first place. He should have been behind bars long ago. This guy, this pedophile, should have been behind bars already. The system failed to act. These men had to step up in the system's place. And so that is the crime. That's the crime that they committed, is by exposing the ineptitude of the system itself. And for that reason, that's why they're trying to punish them. And it is a horrendous injustice. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.